6:30. Welcome everyone tonight, January 3rd. We're going to start off with our work session meeting, and I'm going to give it up to Chairman Ed Long.
Thank you, Mike. Parts of our Ordinance 1 tonight. Ben? Let me just say this. Ordinance 1 is our organizational ordinance. It's a thing that we pass every 2 years. There are some things, though, that Ben's going to go over with us tonight, and there's some suggestions that I'm going to make on it. It's what causes us to be able to do business. It's what gives us the authority to do what we do and how we do it. It has nothing to do with any other committee or anything else in the city. This is strictly the organization of the council. Ben?
Thank you, sir. And Ed is absolutely correct. This is basically checking a box for us statutorily. We are required by state statute to organize every year. Traditionally, you all have done your major reorganization every other year. If you remember last year, we did committee assignments and we did some other more major updating. We traditionally do that every other year after an election, kind of incorporating any new members on, redrafting committees. So this is kind of our off year. We can make any changes that you all like to make. I don't think any are particularly necessary. I have spoken with Ed about one. If you will recall, during kind of the height of the original COVID stuff, the governor and the state legislature put out some allowances that kind of explicitly stated that members of local bodies can appear via Zoom, can appear electronically, things of that nature. The formal emergency declaration has been withdrawn. We're no longer under a formal state of emergency. So it was Ed's thought that it may be a good idea to kind of, for us, or for you all as a body, to formally state that members can still appear electronically when needed, can still appear by Zoom and things like that as needed. And I agree with him. It does not hurt anything in the world to go ahead and state that out loud. I think that authority is there for you guys to do that, but kind of you all saying that is authorized, I think is a good idea. And we can include that. I could have that for you guys next time to vote on.
We were operating under there was really no provisions to have any other meeting except basically in person. If you go back to our Constitution and to the court cases that had been, and all of a sudden along come COVID, so tried to figure out what happened. And the governor, whenever he went into the emergency declaration that he went into, which then the council passed emergency declaration for the mayor, they kind of winked and nodded and said, yes, we can do these things on Zoom. Shortly after that, the legislature got busy and did, in fact, pass the statute that allows that now, kind of formalize that on that. My question to Ben was, and he agreed, I think we need to formalize that here as well. We don't. We're operating under the state statute, which is fine. We can do that, but it's always better if we have our local ordinances to be in compliance with the state, and that's where we was coming from on that. Yeah. Also, Ben, my question on that is, we need to authorize the committees that operate under us here to be able to do that as well. I don't think that we need to organize that under Ordinance 1 because of that. I think we need to have a standalone ordinance that will authorize that. I think that we need to make sure that we outline in that ordinance exactly what the retention times are on that and everything like that.
Yes.
And so that will apply to all the committees and the commissions that are underneath us on that, which will give them the authorization to do that as well. Then they will need to come up with their formal policy and file it with your office and that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. We will include that. And of course, I'll include this in the legislation. It goes without saying that we still have to comply with FOIA and all that. So if we're having a meeting, the audience has to be able to not necessarily see you, ideally see you, but hear you. You can't attend where like just the mayor can hear you or just the individual can hear you. Everybody in attendance at the meeting has to be able to hear you. That's part of FOIA. But I will go ahead and state that in the legislation as well.
Now, it's simply not good enough for other members of the committee to be on a phone or something
That's
with
right.
members of the committee. It has to be made available to the public.
That's right.
The public has to have the ability to call in, be on a conference call with it, be on Facebook, be on something. Something has to be there for the public to be able to join it. And that's where I'm thinking that we've got some misconnect with
Yes.
some things.
That's absolutely right. If you remember during the height of the COVID, when everybody was attending via Zoom, we still had a space open for the public to come because that is in keeping with FOIA, and that's what we had to do. So that is one change we will be bringing for you. Feel free to kind of look over. We included our existing stuff. If you think of any small tweaks that you'd like to recommend, feel free to reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email. We'd be happy to do that. This is, like I said, this is traditionally our off year, so there's not a whole lot to do. But if you think of anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer any questions.
Why don't we start and go around? Let's start with Stephen over there and come around, see if anybody's got any particular questions for you with that. Is that all right with you?
Oh, yes, sir.
I'll just let you go ahead and call them off as you get ready to handle them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir, I'm good. As long as we got the Zoom, I think it's a great idea to put that in place.
Yes, sir. Ron? Good? Brandon?
On section 5, my question is, getting the agenda on Thursday and turning around and voting on the stuff on Monday, sometimes that's a real tight window. And I was wondering if we could extend that any.
We can try. It is often a very tight window for, I can tell you on the admin side, it's also often a very tight window for us as well. There are many times where just stuff doesn't come together until then. But we can certainly, I mean, that's something that we can add. I'd hate to make it a hard and fast deadline and then us miss something. We can certainly say, if available, can go out on Wednesdays or something like that. I think that'd be fine. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you have anything else, Brandon?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, how about this one, Ben? What about the idea of like the week before or something like that? Like, and that gives us a whole week that we can like research or do whatever we have to do, talk to who we got to talk to our constituents and whatnot. I mean, I know that's a week is a long time for some people, but I mean, that gives us plenty of time. Or just whatever. That's an idea.
Sure. No, I mean, and again, you guys can set that whenever however you would like to do it. It is on the administrative, and again, it probably directors are a better person to speak to this because they're the ones we're often waiting for them to get us this stuff. But it often comes together at the last moment. But we can certainly try and get it out to you as quickly as possible. And if you want to put something like that on there, I think that would be fine. I would anticipate probably more special meetings as stuff comes up at the last minute that just has to be dealt with, or things of that nature, because that's just the nature of doing business. Stuff comes up at the last minute that has to be dealt with.
I would agree with Ben if this is the route that council wants to take, and of course you can do whatever you like to do, obviously, but we're going to have to have a lot of more special meetings. So it may go from 2 meetings to 4 meetings a month.
Right, and I
so-
totally get that. And that's probably another question to ask. Like, what's the rationale behind doing the agendas and whatnot, like as we do it now? Is that it right there? That if we have too much time, if we allow for too much time, then we're going to have more special meetings?
Yes, the current kind of Thursday before has been around. Ed would know, but that's been way since before I got here, for years and years and years. I think that's why it allows for things to come up at the last minute while still trying to get it to you guys, so you can have it the weekend before to look over. I think that's the rationale behind it.
The whole rationale behind that thing was for the city clerk's office. It takes them some time to get the financials done and those kinds of things, and I know Tammy wants to take her time on it, and we've always tried to respect that, but we've always also wanted it at least the weekend before, where the people could get out and look at projects or those kinds of things over Saturday, Sunday, if they needed to, Sunday afternoon, whatever like that, familiarize themselves. But that's been the rationale behind it, is try to have the administration where that they can provide the information that they want to provide in a timely manner, where that it is correct, where they're comfortable with it, has been the thing on it. And for a large part, it has worked. There has been some times where Tammy has not been able to do it and get it to us later and those kinds of things, and that's fine. It's worked as well, but that's been the rationale behind it.
Do you have anything else, Michael?
No, I think it's been explained. It's been explained. But I do think like an extra day, maybe Wednesday instead of a Thursday or something like that. Like Brandon mentioned, like a Wednesday instead or whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Or whoever mentioned that, someone said that, wouldn't
Yes.
be a bad idea.
And, you know, most of us work, and, you know, you get that out. And even for voters, that I know I'd love for my constituents to see what we're actually voting on instead of just trying to ram stuff through. I'm all about transparency.
Sure.
And everybody works nowadays, hustle and bustle of everyday life. And I think the more time we give the voters to look at what we're doing, the better opportunity they're going to have to respond to what we're doing.
Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't have anything specific.
Yes, sir. Ed, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
The only thing is, Ben, I would like to open the committees up, if you don't mind. Let anybody that wants a different committee assignment or feels like that the committee they're on don't fit them the way they need to be, contact you.
Yes, sir.
Let that just be between you and them. I don't think it's anything that we need to bother with here.
Yes, sir.
I think maybe you can get more honest answers like that by doing it that way.
Certainly.
So let's open that up. Why don't we say we open it up till when?
If
The rest of this week?
yes, and even if you could get that to me by within, one week by this time next week, I think that'd be fine.
I'd like, that's the only thing I see that I'd like to do on that and taking care of the Zoom thing and
Yes,
making
sir.
sure that all the chairmen of the committees and those kinds of things, once that is done, understand what their responsibility is going to be on that.
Yes,
Those are the only things that I've got on it. Otherwise, I think everything looks fairly decent on here. This was a major revision over what we had been operating under. If you'll remember, we struggled hard and long to take care of a lot of issues that was in Ordinance 1 prior to this one. And I think it looks pretty decent. Mayor, have you been able to operate under this okay with the council and everything? Do you see any major changes you'd like made?
Yes, sir, and what we can do too, I was just thinking out loud here, is some legislation we don't have quite finished, but maybe we can post like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, doing business with XYZ Inc. We can put out, but we can put it out a week in advance, but maybe it's not written until that Thursday, so you know that's coming. Because we know stuff that's coming, it takes us some time to get it written or things tidied up, so maybe we can do something like that.
That's true. Like I've got a spreadsheet in my office that has stuff out for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Jessica, my paralegal, is very organized and has done a good job with that. So we could provide you with a very, very tentative agenda several days earlier. It would just kind of recognize that it would be tentative and it would have some titles, but there wouldn't be a whole lot of meat to it, as that the actual bulk of it would still be drafted. But yes, no, in terms of titles and what's on the agenda, we could provide tentative agendas earlier, absolutely.
Mayor, Ben?
And you think that'll help, so you kind of know what's coming?
Oh, absolutely, because I think that's been the biggest shocker of my first year here is this, how the lack of information flows.
Why don't we look at something like this? For our second agenda that goes out for our third Monday meeting, why don't we attach a tentative agenda for the following month to that, with understanding that it could change completely, not be on there, or it could be exactly as it's received. Everybody understand that it's a tentative agenda. Brandon, would that help scratch your itch a little bit?
Yes, sir, it will.
Why don't we try that?
And just have Jessica prepare something in whatever format she wants.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I would like to make one comment. When this all started, when we began with this, having 2 meetings a month, I wasn't sure that that's what I liked, but now that I've seen how it shortens the progress time that it takes to enact something or to react to the public, I've grown real accustomed to the 2 meetings, and I think that's a benefit.
Okay, James, I agree too.
Okay, it looks like that's it for everybody's questions on that. Ben, the only thing that'll be coming out here will be a ordinance for Zoom.
Yes, sir.
which will encompass not only us and what we are to abide by, but also what the committees and
Yes, sir.
commissions that are under us will do as well. And then any changes to any committee structure,
Yes, sir.
let us know on that if you would.
Of course.
So that's going to be the only legislation to come out of this.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay?
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. All right, our next one is Mr. Mike Wheeler. Mike?
It's on. Hello. As y'all, I'm not going to do a 45-minute presentation. That's next month. Ed just informed me. So y'all are good. March of 2020, Cabot Animal Services was selected by National Organization Human Animal Support Services as a pilot shelter in the program, one of 13 at the time, actually 11 when we signed on, which totally rejuvenated and changed the way we do animal services in the city of Cabot. Animal services in the city of Cabot is now 100% community focused on how we can help the citizens in the town keep their pets, care for their pets, and their families. So with that, the program is still ongoing. We're still working nationally and internationally. I was on a conference call as a speaker a couple months ago in Australia, helping them out. So what we're doing is making great strides. We're helping citizens in ways we've never been able to help citizens before in this country. So what this resolution simply acknowledges what we're doing and what we're striving for here in the city of Cabot, our support for the Human Animal Support Services group that we're tied to, and the city of Cabot's support for that. I think that support started back in March 2020. It was reaffirmed by the voters through the bond issue and y'all's vote for allowing us to put it on that part of it on the bond issue. Any questions? Comments?
Go ahead and start with Stephen over there and work your way around.
Stephen? Ron? Maggie? Brandon? Michael?
Okay, so explain, you said in March of 2020. I remember what you're talking about. March of 2020, the Cabot was selected to be part of a pilot program. What is the name of that organization again?
Human Animal Support Services. It brings, before we've always been focused strictly on the animal, not caring much about the community as much as the animal itself, saving their life, things of that nature. But what we've realized is the animal really can't be saved without the community. And therefore, if we can help with somebody's pet deposit, if we can help with somebody's, help pay their medical bills, if we can help provide food, then we're helping that family out as much or more than we are the animal, and the animal actually benefits in the end. And we become a more humane community.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Matt?
I applaud the programs that you got going now.
Okay. Ed Long?
A couple of years back, we had you stand in front of us and asked us to pass another resolution at that point, and it was to essentially make us a no-kill shelter.
That's correct.
We did do that. The council did do that, unanimously passed that. And it put Cabot on a different path to animal services, it did. And this will enhance that, in my opinion, and strengthen that behind that. I'm 100% behind it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
Anything else? Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that resolution will be coming before us at the meeting following this, and that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ed. I think we need a motion to put that on the agenda, the resolution.
You know what? I think you're probably right. But Tammy caught it, though, didn't she?
Well, I looked at Tammy and Tammy looked at me, and I've been up here, this is my fourth year, and I knew what that meant. Yeah.
All right, I do need a motion.
I'll make a motion to move it to full council.
I've got a motion, get you a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Tammy, call the roll, please. Yes.
Let's do that again. Long,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
and the mayor caught that.
I just had to dig him a little bit.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Ed. Next item, budget and personnel, Matt Weber.
I have nothing on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Police and Fire, James Reed.
Police and fire don't have anything on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, James. Community Development, Ed Long.
I don't have anything for community development, but I have started as of tonight getting committee reports together. We will have reports February and March, and I would like, Mayor, if you would please, to have let's have the report on the Community Development Committee in March, please, if we could do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Military Affairs, Chairman Ron. Yes, sir. Now's the time for general community input. Anyone out there like to come up to the mic, state your name, and if you're from Cabot. Seeing none, I've got a couple of items. Just let everybody know, our RFQ, SOQs will be in tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the internet. So by the end of the week, Brian Burrows will be distributing those that are selected. There should be 4 council members that are selected, and I believe, is it position 1 or position 2? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I believe it's position 1 for the first 6 months. It's all laid out by statute. I believe position 1, first half of the year.
So who's ever on position 1 in your ward, you will get a packet of all the different people that bid on our internet structure, and you will rank those, and we will give you all the documents by the end of the week and give you a deadline to submit those back in. So that'll be coming to those in those positions. Also, hopefully by our next meeting or the 1st of February, we'll have you a master plan of how we're going to lay out the multiplex for Parks and Rec and our police and fire training facility. We have made an offer and signed for the 100 acres above the park over there by the dump. And we're going to have that land that's going to be used for the park and for the police and fire training facility. We're going to do a bifurcated deal. Police and fire is going to have 30 acres, and then parks are going to have 70 acres, roughly 70%, 30%. I think it's 96 or 97 acres to be exact. But we'll have a aerial and kind of tell you what we're looking at for economic development, what we're looking at for police and fire, and what we're looking at for Parks and Rec. And the commission unanimously said, let's get the 100 acres and do this. So we've had a lot of meetings, a lot of get-togethers, and we're looking forward to presenting you what this master plan looks at that exit 21. And I think you're going to be really impressed with what's going to happen in that area. Anyone else before we adjourn?
One quick thing,
Go ahead.
if that's all right. Just an FYI, we've been putting together plans for the hazardous waste collection day. We've got pretty much all of the contractors in place, hazardous waste collection, scrap metal, paper shredding. I'm just running down the list here, but I've gotten with the city attorney. Ben has been communicating with me about getting cost estimates, and I'm not sure, we'll probably have some legislation, maybe the second meeting in January, as far as the expenditures on that, but everything's coming together. Location's going to be Junior High South, March 19th.
And we will have legislation coming to council to waive competitive bidding. We're going to use the same person. We think it's going to be under $35,000, but just in case, you know, Matt will have that ready with Ben, and we'll get it, I think. When did you say, Ben, 1st of February?
I hope to have it ready by next time.
Okay. Okay. So that'll be coming y'all's way to look at. And Ben, if you could, if Jessica could go ahead and send out to them what we think is going to be on next meeting, so they can kind of see, since we do have that. Any other questions? See none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion from James, second from Matt. All in favor, say aye.
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 Adjourned at 6:55. Anyone need a bathroom break before we start the next session? Everybody good? All right. We'll continue. I'd like to call the January 3rd City Council meeting to order at 6:55. We're going to open up with prayer by Councilman Hillenberg and then the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Reed. If everyone stand.
Lord, we are so grateful for this new year you've given us. Please give us the wisdom, Lord, to lead our city in the right direction, Lord. Lord, forgive us when we fail you. In these things I ask. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Tammy, can you give us a roll call?
Long,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Red,
Here.
Hillenberg,
Here.
Cope,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Waymack.
Everyone is present. Next item, approval of minutes from last meeting. We'll first start with the work session minutes. Any action?
Make a motion to approve the work session minutes for December 13th.
Second.
Ooh. I'm going to give it to Michael. I got a motion from Stephen, a second from Michael, to approve the December 13th, 2021 work session minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item, December 13th, 2021, City Council minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for December 13th.
Second.
For council meetings.
Who did second? Matt. Got a motion from Stephen, a second from Matt, to approve the December 13th, 2021 City Council minutes. Any discussion? See none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next items, read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Make a motion to read all ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Second.
Got a motion by Matt, a second by James, to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. City Council old business, I have none. Council, do you have any? Seeing none, next item, City Council new business, I have one item, resolution number 1 of 2022. Please, Tammy.
Resolution number 1 of 2022, a resolution to declare the intention of the city of Cabot to revisualize animal welfare and keep families together and for other purposes.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution number 1 of 2022.
Second.
I've got a motion from Ed, a second by Stephen, to adopt resolution number 1 of 2022. Any discussion by council? See none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Council, any other new business? Seeing none, community input. If someone wants to come up to the podium, state their name, if they're from Cabot, and you may address the council and the mayor. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to end with a little bit of news. Just wanted y'all all here to know if my intentions, God willing, to run for mayor again in 2022. I want to tell all y'all before I told the papers or Facebook or advertising signs and all that stuff. So I hope to continue to serve as your mayor, and I look forward to elections in 2022. Anyone else? Yes. Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion from Brandon, second from Ron. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 7 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, for coming.